I had a very negative comment in my comment section. All right, I had a very negative comment in my comment section not too long ago, and I did not like it. Somebody came for me and told me I didn't give them any information. I was like, wow, bro, I got hella people on here that like really think I give them information, and you're just gonna come on here and be salty? Ah. What's good, YouTube? TP Locks here, bringing you guys another video. Yes, today we're going to talk about a very popular topic in my inbox and my DMs, emails, everywhere. All right, today we're going to talk to you guys about how to get your dreadlocks to lock up faster. Now, this is typically something that people deal with in the very early stages. I know for me, I wanted my hair to lock up very quickly because I wanted to be able to wash my hair to get rid of that dreadful itching. When talking about or answering this question, I think it's going to be very important for you guys to understand, for one, the phases of locks, what the locks will look like in each of those phases, what to expect, and really some of the little things that can help once you've gotten through those phases to get your hair to lock. If you're interested in finding out about the phases and how to get your hair to lock once you've gone through those phases, stay tuned for this. Now, if you have not already, please subscribe and hit the little notification bell on the left. By hitting that little notification bell, you will stay notified with all the content as I post it. If you want to stay up to date on all the content that I post, please hit the notification bell and stay up to date. All right. Oh, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers, you guys. Now, a few months ago, I was letting you guys know that we wanted to be at about 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm about a little over 700 right now. And so basically, if I get 100 subscribers a month up until the end of December, I will have 1,000 subscribers for the end of the year. So please help me support, hit the notification bell, subscribe, like these videos, share, anything that you can do to help us get there. Be tremendously supportive, tremendously helpful. All right, now let's get into the video. All right, y'all, let's get this video started. All right, now, the first thing we want to talk about is the phases of your locks. Now, we've talked about this in prior videos. I think it's really important to start off this video with first understanding the process. Anytime I get a question in my videos, usually what happens is someone sends me a picture and they ask me whether or not their locks are in the appropriate condition. Do my locks look good? Do my locks look like they're progressing the right way? Do my locks look like they're on track? These are some of the questions that I tend to get in my inbox. And usually what I have to do for individuals is take an example of someone whose hair is already locked that had the exact same path as theirs. You know, I think it's really important to do so because a lot of times when people are starting out with their locks, you guys really don't know what to expect. You know, all you see is people that have dreadlocks. So you think, I'm gonna go to the salon, I'm gonna get these locks, and then I'm gonna leave, and maybe in a month or two later, they're gonna look like, hopefully, something like the people that I saw that motivated me to get the locks. Well, we know that's not true. It's the furthest from the truth. In fact, your hair will not look like the people that you probably saw on the Instagram channel, the YouTube channel, for probably almost a year or a few years in some cases. So understand that first and foremost. Your hair is gonna go through a completely different journey than the people or on YouTube or on Instagram. It's not gonna look the same for a very long time, unless, you know, you got a different sort of hair texture. Again, results may vary. What I will say is, first and foremost, you gotta understand the phases. Now, I can only speak from experience of comb coils. When I got comb coils, these were the specific phases. So I wanna let that be known and make it very clear. I'm only speaking about comb coils when I'm talking about the phases of locks, all right? Now, the very first phase that you're gonna deal with is gonna be the coil phase. That coil phase is something that, depending on your hair texture, it may last anywhere between a week, you know, if you got very coarse hair, to, you know, for some people it could last up to 5 months. It really depends. Typically, the more coarse your hair, the shorter that coil phase is gonna last. Quite common, the characteristics of a coil phase are gonna be that your hair is gonna be in a very perfect cylindrical form, and it's also gonna be very sleek and shiny. Oftentimes it's gonna be somewhat reflective as well because it's at that stage where it's not really frizzy, it's still at the coil phase. What quite often you're gonna be able to see straight to the scalp. You're not gonna have any budding. Once you start getting budding, that's gonna be a completely different phase. But the coil phase, strictly just coils, looks like you just left the shop. That's the first phase that you're gonna be dealing with. The second phase is gonna be your budding phase. Now, your budding phase is characterized by a little bit more of a rough look. You'll notice that with your bud, a bud typically is like a huge swelling in your lock. It kind of looks like a hollow, puffed out curl, and usually it'll be a complete different texture, a complete different look than the rest of your lock. Quite often it'll be accompanied by frizz as well, and it typically won't be the most aesthetically pleasing looking thing. It'll be something that kind of looks a little awkward, but it'll just kind of look like a little hair bubble. You can't pop it, but it kind of feels like a little hair bubble. Those are gonna be your buds. Now your buds, that's gonna be a stage to let you know that your hair has just now started locking. It's very important to understand that once you start to see these little hair bubbles or buds, your hair is in the right track. No need to feel bad or fret or anything like that. You're on the right pace. Now the third phase that you're gonna be dealing with is gonna be one where your hair tends to take more of a frizzy look. You're getting a lot more buds. Most of your hair is budded at this point, but this is what people will refer to as the top of the ugly stage. This is when your hair is just kind of doing anything it wants. Part of it's still unraveling, part of it's budding, most of it's budding, but it just doesn't look like the perfectly cylindrical locks that you saw, the mature locks that you saw on those Instagram pages, all right? This phase is typically the phase that I get the most questions. Hey, are my locks supposed to look like this? Hey, how do I get my hair to lock faster? Hey, what's going on? My hair is still unraveling. I'm completely aware that this phase is the most perplexing because there's the most going on in that phase. You probably still got some hair that's not fully locked in the back that's prone to unravel. You got budding that you're dealing with, which is brand new. It doesn't really look like what you expected it to look like from a lock. And then, you're still not really at a space where, your tips and ends are blunted. It's just a lot going on. So I get it. I understand the questions. And there are ways to help. But I just want you guys to understand these phases are normal. They're completely normal, and they're things that all of us went through. Hopefully that in this video I'll have some time to add in some clips or add in some photos as I'm speaking, so you guys can at least be aware of what I'm talking about. This stuff is all natural. We all go through it. Like I said, I'm still going through somewhat as far as like not having blunted ends and tips, but please understand that this is normal. Now, with that being said, once you figure out what you're going through is normal within your regular phases, understand that there are ways that you can actually benefit the locking of your hair, all right? But with understanding that there are ways to positively impact the locking mechanism of your hair, understand that there is no one-stop shop. Nothing is gonna instantly make your hair lock. So this isn't a magic pill that's gonna get your hair to lock in one day. Gradually over time, this is gonna help your hair lock. So let's start with telling you what that is going to be. Now, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Now, in the very beginning when you get your locks, what is like the last thing that some people wanna do because they're afraid of their hair coming out? It's washing it. Now, ask me again what the thing is that gets your hair to lock faster. Washing it, that's right. Washing it, man. We've talked about this a little bit before, but the impact of water on your hair, especially coarse hair, and especially our locks, is that first it kind of causes that hair cuticle to expand, but then after it gets done expanding and the hair gets dry, it comes back and it locks again. And consistently doing this over time is what gets your hair to lock more and more and more and more. A lot of times people are apprehensive about washing their hair because, especially in those early phases, you're still dealing with hair that is prone to unravel. I know me, in the very back and somewhere towards the crown, anytime I wash my hair, that hair felt like it just came all the way out. Like I would just have like an afro puff just right at the back of my head. All these would be fine, but there would be like an afro puff back there. That was something I went through. I'm just now at a space where, those locks are fully locked and I don't really gotta worry about them. But that was the thing I was worried about. You gotta push through that. You gotta push through that. Dirty hair is a lot more difficult to lock than clean hair. Clean hair locks a lot faster than dirty hair, I should say. and you gotta make sure that you're washing your hair. How frequently you do so, I don't wanna tell you guys how frequently you should do it. You know what I'm saying? I would recommend for people at least once a month. For me, I have to do at least once every 2 weeks because my itching is unbearable. If I don't, my scalp just gets cakey. I have to understand washing your hair is gonna be extremely beneficial at getting your hair to lock. You want that water drying and wet mechanism to really take into effect into your hair. You wanna be able to take advantage of that because again, that is gonna be one of the main sources of getting your hair to lock. A lot of people, you know, are trying to stay away from water. A lot of people try to hide from water. Don't try to hide from water. Get in that water, rinse that hair, wash that hair, and you will lock a lot faster. Now, another way to get your hair to lock is to implement the use of sea salt. Now, I always used to wonder why I had friends in Florida and in like some places in like Barbados and like Jamaica that would always tell me that they would just swim. It's quite common that people just go and they swim in the ocean to get their hair to lock a lot faster. It didn't really make sense to me at the time because I didn't really have locks and I really wasn't paying attention, you know, really to the methods of, you know, hair locking anyway, but it makes sense now. You do your research, you'll find that a lot of people are using sea salt to lock up particularly their ends. It completely works. I've used it before. I used it in the very early stages before I dyed my locks. And it felt like literally it turned my ends into like these knots. It was amazing how it worked. But just using a little bit and also making sure that you are very mindful of scalp irritation. You wanna make sure if you are using sea salt and putting it into your sprays or anything like that, that you rinse that right out. This isn't something that you want to just get on your scalp and just to sit on your scalp. If you are gonna be using it, soak in it and then thoroughly rinse it, all right? Locking your hair is not worth getting an irritated scalp. I can tell you that right now. It's gonna lock naturally anyway. All right, we're trying to speed the process up. We're not trying to leave us with more damage, all right? So sea salt, you guys, use some sea salt. You can pick some up at a local CVS, Target, Walmart, anywhere they sell regular table salt. Do not use Morton's table salt. Promise you their properties are completely different. Don't try to do it. Please. If you can find some, use some sea salt. I think Morton might even do a sea salt, but don't just do the regular table salt. That will screw you up, all right? Another way to get your hair to lock a lot faster is to implement the use of a crochet hook. Now, I made a video about this not too long ago, and some people saw it. I think I made it just showing people how to blunt your ends. But if you're trying to find a way to kind of pull your frizz into your lock and sort of encourage the tangling of your hair just on your own, just by manually using a tool, you can use a crochet hook to do so. How the crochet hook I use the crochet hook is I'll take it, you poke it into the lock, and then there's a little hook at the very end that will pull that hair back into the lock. You're doing that consistently over and over again, and you're basically manually getting your hair to tangle, manually sort of kickstarting that process to lock. Now, this is a process that quite honestly, I do recommend, you know, for people that can use it all phases. I wouldn't necessarily recommend people using it in the early phases, like the bud phase. I wouldn't recommend using this probably up until, you know, your locks are getting to that adolescent phase. But again, that's just me. But I'd say the crochet hook is definitely a great tool to kind of like complement what you're already just doing naturally. Complement the water, complement the sea salt if you're using it. It's an amazing tool. I would highly recommend it, and it really doesn't do any damage to your hair, you know, if you're not going in there going crazy and just yanking stuff out. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you're trying to lock your hair fast, use a crochet hook. It will get you right. Quite honestly, I use it, or I used to use it. I don't use none of it anymore. I'm kind of lazy, but you know, I used to use it when I was really focused on trying to make sure that my tips were blunted. You can find that video. I'll post it somewhere in here. But it works tremendously at getting your tips to lock up and at least take that blunted appearance. So yeah, hopefully I can post some links to some products at some point so you guys, you know, aren't going all over the place to have to find some. If you guys would be interested in me posting some links for you guys to go directly to some products, leave a comment below. But yeah, these are gonna be some helpful things that you guys can use to lock your hair. Now, the last thing I'm gonna tell you guys that you guys can do to help your hair lock faster is really just simply about like abstinence. And it's abstaining Not abstinence like not having sex. But that's so rude. That's so bad of me. But every time I do a video, I just got gas. But anyways, yeah, abstaining from the use of, you know, certain products like dyes, certain chemicals in your hair is gonna help your hair lock faster as well. When you dye your hair, guys, understand that you are introducing your hair to a chemical that does a lot of the same things that a perm will do or a texturizer will do. It's gonna loosen that curl pattern, and quite honestly, it's gonna cook a lot of that follicle. When you're stripping enamel from your hair, when you're stripping pigmentation, I'm sorry, from your hair, you gotta understand that that is making that hair weaker. I miss the days before I had, you know, my hair dyed at the tips, and I kind of had to do a lot of the restrictive things that I had to do to kind of get it back to a space it's at now. I miss those days because before, you know, the hair didn't feel as soft. Every time I got my hair wet, it wasn't like curly at the ends. The hair texture has completely changed. And in fact, to this point now, when I get into the water, you can't get it to stay blended. Prior to that, my hair was extremely blended. I can get in the water, it was blended, it never curled up at the ends. You know, I reversed that process by introducing harsh chemicals like dyes to my hair. So understand, if you're trying to lock your hair, I know everybody wants to kind of have like cool looking locks. Everybody wants to have like the blonde tips and things like that. I'm not trying to deny you from having that. All I'll say is, if you're trying to get your hair to lock faster, those chemicals are going to delay slightly that process, especially on your tips, especially on your roots. Take a look at some of your favorite YouTubers. I'm not gonna say no names because I'm not trying to make it seem like, you know, I'm shooting at anybody. But if you take a look at your favorite YouTubers or Instagrammers and you see some of their ends, if they haven't cut them, you know, and if they've been repeatedly dyeing their hair, you'll notice that the hair starts to look a little frayed, starts to look a little damaged, and the ends quite often, if they're not cut, are kind of like these curly cues when they get wet in particular. You know, it's not the best look. For me, to me, it's not the best look. And if you are trying to get your hair to lock, I definitely would stay away from that until after like the first year. You do not want to be introducing a new process with something like those chemicals. You don't want to bring chemicals to a process like locks when it's not even mature yet. I would recommend that. If you guys watch Damian Walter, he highly recommends that as well. He speaks that. Typically, even styles, Damian is like harsh against. So, you know, limit those things that you're doing. Limit the manipulation of your hair in the very beginning, because that will positively impact your hair locking. All right. Now, you guys, if you guys have any more questions about how to get your hair to lock up faster, and this video did not provide you with what you needed, please leave a comment in the comment section and we will try to find out that information for you. If you're at a phase where, you know, some of these things you've already tried and it's still not working, we can get you the information. That's the beautiful thing about this channel. These videos aren't going to be perfect. They're not going to be an entire encyclopedia worth of information and these condensed bites of information. It's just going to be something that I think could be helpful to some people, hopefully a lot of people. But if it's not, like I said, I apologize. We can work on it. I had a very negative comment in my comment section. All right, I had a very negative comment in my comment section not too long ago, and I did not like it. All right, somebody came for me and told me I didn't give them any information. I was like, wow, bro, I got hella people on here that like really think I give them information, and you're just gonna come over here and be salty? Ah. Nah, man. I mean, honestly, the beautiful thing about it is, like, man, I just want to address this right now. I mean, I love making videos. I love helping people. I'm not really thrown off by the negativity. I just felt the need to address it because I think it's funny. I think you guys just gotta understand me. You gotta know who I am to know, like, it's very difficult for that stuff to really penetrate. So I do want to be helpful. If I'm not helpful and your intent, your goal to come into my channel is to be helped, give me the opportunity to help you. But leaving a bad comment, I mean, leaving a rude comment or something like that, like, I mean, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I just, you know, I'll just probably respond happily to you. Yeah. But that's that. I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself to do well for you guys and put out as much information as I can. So I am actually helping people. But when I don't, you know, we can build, we can work. Again, this is a relatively new channel, so I appreciate you guys rocking with me. I appreciate you guys, coming on this new journey with me as far as this YouTube channel and helping me get to that 1,000 subscribers. Again, I'm not there yet. I'm about 700 something right now. You guys are helping me. And again, I just really appreciate all the support we've been getting, all the growth of the channel, and just where we're headed. All right, we headed to the top, and it's all thanks to you guys. All right. Y'all stay tuned for the next video. TP Locks signing. Okay, I'm doing the most. TP Locks signing out.